are you, Ray?
You just essentially said he may be an arsonist, but he has a friend for a fireman.
Yes, I did. But you know it's all said with the intent. You understand the intent.
Oh, I understand the intent. My lawyer will be in touch.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate that. Heads up. So let me ask you this question, Ray. The Warriors are on their heels, and are they wondering what we're all wondering, that they're not the 73 win team anymore? What do you think here?
I don't know what they're wondering about what we're wondering. What I think they're wondering is how do we figure out how to play for the first time in 2 years a team that is showing that it's better than us? How do we become the gutty little underdog that we were 2 years ago again? Because they've had 2 years of basic hand rides in these 2 seasons, and they're being challenged seriously for the first time by a team that seems to have figured out what they do, how they do it, and how they're able to do it so consistently. You don't get hammered twice without having to sort of reassess. And what they're having to reassess after 2 seasons with 140 wins and 6 playoff series wins, you have to start rethinking a little bit how you're going about your day. And I think that's the thing that's got them going more than what we think. I think it's just, okay, if they're better than us, let's figure out how to beat them anyway, because when we were better than them 2 games ago, they beat us flat. So I think that it's that more than anything else. If you want to get into the mental game, I think a lot of this is Oklahoma City's come in with a really good tactical plan, and the Warriors have met it by not playing very well in almost all areas. But I think in terms of being in their own heads, I think that's what's there more than anything else.
So what is the everyone's scratching their heads over it, obviously, Ray, and which one of these rumors and what people are mentioning as to the real reason why the Warriors aren't doing very well is the closest to the truth? You've got Curry's not himself. He's hurt. I've heard Draymond Green has had the curtain pulled out to show the real man behind the curtain, that he's read his press clippings a little too much and isn't as good. Or 3, that Kerr himself isn't 100%, and he's not making the adjustments possible like he did last year because he himself came back too soon from his own maladies. Which one do you think is closest to the truth, Ray?
Well, I think Curry is not 100%. I mean, the one interesting thing yesterday when Kerr was asked if Curry is specifically 70%, his denial was basically, no one has told me 70%. So I don't think Curry is at 100%, but he's playing, which means that whatever injuries he has, you can't dismiss them, but you can't give them too much credit either because he's out there and he's playing a lot of minutes. As far as Green goes, he's been awful for 2 games in a row and really has been poor for 3 of the 4 games in this series. But I think most of that is because he's been asked to take care of Steven Adams and deal with Kevin Durant because Andrew Bogut can't stay in games and Festus Ezeli has done very little as his backup. Bogut in the last 56 minutes has committed 13 fouls, which essentially means he's fouled out of 1 game twice. So he's not a factor, and they need him to be a factor if only to occupy Adams. Green has not been able to deal with that as well because Adams is a much improved player. He's really long. He's really active. He'll come away from the basket, and he'll come out to go after you. I mean, you see him beyond the arc being the first guy to initiate with Curry. So I think it's, when Kerr, he's been coaching with this all year, and I don't think it's a matter of them failing to make adjustments. I think it's Oklahoma City has come up with a plan that catches the Warriors' weak spots in just the right way. Billy Donovan gets a lot of credit for that, but I don't think this is a coaching failure. I think what it is Oklahoma City's been better, and they've caught the Warriors at a time when they have been asked to go outside their comfort zone, and they had to do that so little in the last 2 years that I think it takes some reorientation to do that.
Ray Ratto joins me here on the Rich Eisen Show. Crystal ball it for me. What do you think happens?
They win tonight, and I don't give them a great chance in Game 6 because if it's that simple to turn around a 3-1 deficit against a team that is as locked in as Oklahoma City, it would have happened more than 9 times in the history of the league. I think they're good enough to win tonight, but I think you go back into the building where you've lost by 28 and 24 against a team at the peak of its powers. I think that's a really big ask.
So has this I guess eclipsed San Jose making the Stanley Cup Finals for the first time ever, or has the Sharks pierced the Warriors and also the San Francisco Giants? What they're doing bubble up there in the Bay Area, Ray?
Well, everybody was pot committed to watching the Warriors, on their parade drive. The fact that the Sharks are finally in the Stanley Cup, I mean, it's still too new a thing this morning, but I think Bay Area fans being spectacularly agile bandwagon jumpers, they will mourn the Warriors for a couple of days and then leap on the Sharks bandwagon. And as soon as that season is over, then they'll get to the Giants. And if they're not Giants fans, then they'll sit around moping until football starts.
And then when football starts, the Raiders sitting there in Oakland with season ticket sales, from what I'm told, at a high that they have not seen in some time, and rumors of Vegas. How much fire is there behind this Vegas smoke, from what you're hearing, Ray?
I think there's a lot of fire. I think there's no real objection to their going, with the possible exception that they're going to want some modifications in the ownership structure.
Yeah, let's talk about that. What are you hearing about that?
Some rumors have basically said that if the Raiders go to Vegas, the owners want new owners. The owners want Mark Davis to sell his majority stake. Others have said that some of his minority investors, who are wired into people like Bob Kraft and Ziggy Wilf, would become part of an organized transition to them running the team in a period of years. The one thing I'm pretty sure of, because it's the National Football League, is Mark Davis isn't going to be allowed to go to Las Vegas based on his charm and good looks. There's always a quid pro quo, and it's usually a stiff one. So I would imagine that if they okay Vegas, he would choose that over Los Angeles, just because the deal that Stan Kroenke has been laying out, either for the Raiders or the Chargers, has been pretty onerously one-sided.
Yeah, plus don't you think that the Rams would rather have the building to themselves, and that if the Chargers aren't coming to Los Angeles, they would rather the Rams have the building to themselves too, as opposed to having two teams in the Los Angeles market just above them?
Well, yeah, but
right?
They set up the deal whereby the Raiders had an option to move in if the Chargers don't exercise theirs. And I think that's because the owners outthought themselves again. They set up a situation, and a series of situations, where they thought they could control the outcome, and they really couldn't, because they gave up too many outs. I think they would prefer for the Chargers to be in L.A. if push came to shove, just because they want Dean Spanos to be happy. But if Dean Spanos is going to be happier staying in San Diego with a new stadium, they'd be okay with that. The one thing they didn't want was the Raiders in L.A., but they're willing to let them go to Vegas as long as they can engineer the backdoor deal that makes Mark Davis a minority owner. And that they'll probably be able to pull off, because Davis doesn't have the leverage to prevent them.
And here we are on Memorial Day weekend, and Kaepernick's still with the Niners. Right? I mean,
Yes,
how does... Yeah?
The 49ers are a gigantic hamster wheel, and nobody's allowed to get off. So you just have to run as fast as you can to stay on it. And then when it blows up, it'll blow up. I don't get the sense that they've ever planned this very well. and they've always presumed that they've had leverage throughout. And at some point, this is going to come to a head, because I don't think that Kaepernick's hard feelings have abated very much. Chip Kelly is trying to figure out a way to pick a quarterback without the other quarterback feeling like he's been wronged, which is a lousy way to start your coaching career in a place. And in general, the 49ers are noted for being reactors rather than proactors. And that's hurt them in the past. It certainly has in the Harbaugh situation. And they're still being reactive. They think that somehow this will all solve itself and all they have to do is win games. But to win games, you have to be proactive. You can't wait for events to hit you. And I think that's the problem they've got.
Well, Ray, as I tweeted out, your column after the Warriors fell down 3-1 is one of the best game columns I've read in recent years, and I love what you do and how you do it. And very rarely do I reveal direct message contacts between me and anybody else. And you, after seeing that tweet, direct message me, does that mean that you have to buy me a beer? And the reason why I'm bringing this right out now, Ray, is the answer is yes, and I'm just putting it out there that the next time I see you, I will demand that beer, but at the last minute, switch it up to the French Laundry and then have you pay for the entire thing. Okay, Ray? I'm just putting it out there that that's exactly how I'm going to run it.
Wow, you really think I was born on the back of a turnip truck, don't you?
Well, I mean, you know, it's not a bad move last minute.
It's been done. It's a cliche now.
Is it? I think it's
everybody takes an owner to the French Laundry. I mean, who's kidding who here? I mean, that's a cliche. Now it's, you'll go to my dive bar.
Okay.
I'll get you a quality IPA.
Okay.
At 9:30 in the morning, and
Nice.
then you'll have to put up with people wondering if you're a functioning alcoholic.
Which is fine, as long as then I get the next one and switch it up to a $2,100 dinner or lunch tab. Is that? I don't care if it's cliche. I don't care if it's
Again, I'm going to refer to the turnip truck.
Okay. Thanks.
I mean, I may look stupid, and I may be stupid, but I'm not that stupid.
Thank you, Ray. Appreciate
Alrighty.
it. Enjoy the game tonight. Thank you. It's Ray Ratto once again.
The Rich Eisen Show, weekdays at noon Eastern on Audience.